the Meters and Herbie Hancock, and we heard all these kind of records, and also kind of Blue Note records, and things that we didn't know anything about at the time. So people like him are really important, and you know, there was other people we knew. You know, some of his skate friends had great records. Some of the guys were a bit older than us, so they probably absorbed a bit more music and came from different scenes. Where maybe they were more into punk, or they were more into other things. You know, so between us, we all heard a lot of music, and then getting out and playing a little bit more. We met more musicians. Like actually, one thing I should say about Danny Roberts is his dad first came up with the name Little Barrie. It was him who called me that nickname as a kid, so that's where that came from. But like you know, I went to college and I met Miles Newbold, who helped record and engineer the first Little Barrie single, first ever single. We did it in his house, and he played keys. We did it in his house as just a rough demo, and you know, so meeting people like that, and there were some really cool musicians in Nottingham and stuff. So I think we all influenced each other. So it was definitely important. You know, there was a lot of creative people there. Some really talented people.
James J. Myers got in touch on Facebook. He wants to know what first got you into music, and also what was the first record that you bought?
The first, well, I suppose what really got me into music was like the Stone Roses and the Chuck Berry thing, into playing music. But much younger than that, when I was really young, the first record I actually asked for that my parents bought for me was Prince Charming, the album by Adam and the Ants. I got it on cassette with a Boots battery-powered tape recorder, and I played that thing to death until the battery started slowing Adam's voice down. I had to get some new batteries, but yeah, that you know, that I've always kind of liked music, I suppose. And then when I sort of, you know, got to like, you know, listen to my sister's records, that's when I started playing. But I saw James sent a message actually offering to lend me his amplifier on tour, which is very kind. It's got a beautiful old amp.
Via Facebook?
Yeah, I saw the picture. It's very nice amp.
Stephen Dineen, I think you pronounce it. Apologies if not. Wants to know what it was like touring with Charles Bradley in America.
It was an absolute privilege. Charles is just probably one of the most kindest, genuine, caring human beings that I've ever met, and I think probably Virgil and Lewis would say the same. We met Charles when we had a few gigs opening for him in Spain, and we'd heard really great things about him, but we knew that he kind of had a soul band, and we weren't sure how the gig was going to go, because we were more kind of a bit raggedy and kind of loud, I suppose, and more like a sort of, you know, more the kind of garage rock and roll group. But it went down really well, and they watched us on both nights, and we started hanging out together, and his show was just mind-blowing, you know. It was like the spirit in what he does, and you know, he's a total proof that rock and roll isn't just a young man's game. You know? I think he knocked us sideways when he first came out and sang his first line. We were all speechless. And then, you know, thanks to Tommy and the rest of his band, we got the US tour, and it was just so much fun. It was just like hanging about with friends, and we got on really well with those guys. And you know, even when the tour ended, we had a week in New York, so we tried to see those guys as much as we could, and stuff. So yeah, it was it was just nothing but fun, really. You know, despite, you know, we were all kind of a little bit sad when it ended, I think.
Yeah.
You know, but we've all kept in touch, so trying to catch up with them when we get back.
And then sort of following on from that, there's a site on Twitter called Scream or Die. Wants to know, well, what were your first impressions of the US fans?
I thought they were brilliant. You know, we've said this before in an interview, that when you're opening for people, especially if you sound quite different, you just don't know what kind of reception you're going to get. Also, if people are going to, you know, people might just go to the bar, you know, because they haven't bought the ticket to see you, so you don't really know what kind of reaction you're going to sort of meet, you know, when you start playing. But the audiences were really cool, and because of that, you know, we've got a chance to come back. So yeah, it was really great. I thought American audiences are fantastic. You know, some of the best crowds we played to.
Yeah, and then also in the same question, you're playing gigs in America in August. Wants to know, are you looking forward to going back?
Yeah, very much. You know, America's such a huge place. We've only seen a small amount of it so far, and you don't always get much time because you're constantly travelling. You know, it might be one night in a place and you move on, but yeah, we've really enjoyed it so far. So we're hoping we can, you know, can continue.
And Dave McLean wants to know, apart from Evan Collins and Primal Scream, who else have you played for? And session for?
One of the first session gigs I did a few shows for Saint Etienne, and then after that I landed 10 gigs with Morrissey. Then I think after that I've done a couple of, you know, like kind of guest sort of slots for sessions, like did the Chemical Brothers, did Spiritualized. More recently I played on a film soundtrack that was produced by Mark Ronson. I've also done often on session work with Paul Weller. We did some of it as Little Barrie, as the band, and I did a few, you know, on the track 22 Dreams, and then on the album Wake Up the Nation I did some guitar on a couple of songs. You know, Pete Molinari I've worked with. He's a friend who asked me to get up on stage with him a few times and play a few things, and we even did one recording straight to vinyl, where Lewis Durham from the band Kitty Daisy Lewis has got an old vinyl cutting machine, so you can basically record like people used to, where it goes straight onto an acetate. We did a few songs back in Pete, which was really good fun. And yeah, I've played guitar on a few things that he's doing, maybe for a new album. So there's quite a few different people. Oh, excuse me. Let's reach. Call him in. So yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone else.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that's it so far. I work with a French dance act as well called Make the Girl Dance. I played on one of their records. They were really fun. They were really funny guys. They approached me at a gig in France, and also talking in France as well. Mareva Galanter, you know, Little Barrie, we backed her on her album about 4 years ago now. It was also Martin Duffy from Scream playing keys, where we went in to make the album without having heard the tracks before. The studio time was booked, and we just turned up. Which at first I wasn't sure it was going to work, but it came out really well. So that was cool, and she was great. And the producer Jack was brilliant as well. So that was really great.
Nice one, that's it. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Chris.
There you go.
Cheers. It's a bit more concise, that one.